Welcome along to the Future Me takeover of Gloucester FM this Thursday evening. Stay with us for the next hour. We've got a great show coming up. Welcome along to our show. Great to have you with us. And I'm also really pleased to be joined by three of my fellow Future Me youth reps. We've got Ben, James and Beth. Say hello, everyone.
Hello.
Heyo.
So you've all been on the show before, but I don't think us four have been on before, so I'm sure we're going to have a great time. And we're obviously really pleased to have done 2 previous shows in December. And this is our last one of the year, so it's going to be good and sad as well that we won't be coming back till 2022. And that's kind of our theme in a way. We're going to be talking about the new year, partly to do with how there's so much promise in a new year, but also what are some of the difficulties that we all go through when a new year comes round. So if you've got something to share about any New Year's hopes or resolutions you've got, or any concerns, we'd love to hear them. You can get in touch by texting 60066. Make sure you start your message with GFM, or you can email us studio@gloucesterfm.com. So I think to start with, we just wanted to talk about some New Year's resolutions, partly because I know some people love them, some people hate them, but it's kind of a good opener. So I don't know, Beth, if you're willing to share any you may have had in the past.
Well, some that I've had in the past, I definitely think I think we've all gone through this phase, the phase of just saying, I'm going to give up chocolate, I'm going to give up chocolate. And that lasted, well, we didn't even last till New Year's Day, did we? That one definitely didn't last. I've definitely had some of, I'm going to change up my style, change up my look.
Oh yeah,
no,
I've done that.
Never done that. It's gone straight back to joggers and hoodie the day after. A lot of pointless, I'm going to change this. Never did it.
It's funny, isn't it? A lot of them are to do with kind of changing who you are, and it's like, it's never going to work.
Or I'm going to keep my bedroom tidy. I'm going to organise my stuff. Lasted January, maybe, at a push.
How about you, James?
Well, for me, pretty much similar case. I tried one to pass the chocolate one, never worked out. Although one I think was more successful was one year. This was back way ago. I used to be very lazy, not do anything, and I thought one thing I was going to do to start one year was actually I was going to try and do more fitness, like go to the gym and stuff, and I've managed to actually succeed. And as all three of you probably can tell you right now, I am what you would call a gymaholic. Now I cannot get enough of that place.
Gymcore on Spotify.
Yes. Yes,
but I know you said, James, that how much of a difference that's made for you, not just for your physical health, but also your health in general and your well-being.
Especially mentally as well, because I didn't realise how important it was to me then until actually the lockdowns had happened, and then I actually realised, my word, the socialising in the gym really meant a lot to my head, and it needed it. And plus, also, it's just you missed all the fun times the lads have, and all the girls were just good fun, good laughs.
Yeah, one of mine was to find an exercise that I enjoyed, because I'd been through so many routines of trying to do exercise because I knew I should, but I was hating it. And I wanted to find an exercise that worked for me, and managed to work out about swimming and stuff that I enjoyed and managed to keep it up. Ben, have you got anything to chip in before we play a track?
I think there's a theme going on here, because I also have failed most New Year's resolutions I've made. The one success I had was about 3 or 4 years ago, and that's when I said I was going to go veggie, and I did it, and I haven't gone back. But that's kind of the only...
that's a big one.
That's the only success.
That's the one and none. Am I right?
Yeah.
And I think, a common theme as well with New Year's resolutions is that it's great to be motivational and to be aspirational with yourself, but it's also not great when they can become a bit toxic. When you you're pressuring yourself to do something, and that's not always healthy. So after another track, we're going to come back and talk about that side of things a bit more, especially in a new year. So for sure, a new year can be a difficult time. I think we're all aware of that, especially right now. And there's been a lot of uncertainty coming up in the last few days. But even when there isn't a pandemic, January is dark. It can be kind of a depressing time. So we've picked up on this theme in previous shows, and I think, let's just pay it a bit of attention that it deserves, which is just to share the fact that You're not alone if you find the new year difficult, and I wondered whether any of you guys wanted to talk about anything you find hard at this time of year, if you'd be happy to, or any advice you have as well.
I think especially this time of the year, everyone is there going, oh, you know, in the new year I'll sort it out then. And like it runs along that theme of giving people the excuse to kind of, you know, push their problems back to a later date. And I don't want to wait until a new year to be able to deal with some of the things that I need to sort out now. I want to be able to say to myself, you know what, I'm going to sort it out, not for the new year, not for anything, but for me. And I think that should be the reason why you do things and why you change things and why you change things up, is for you and not for the fact that you want to, you know, follow the new year kind of thing and, you know, start new year fresh and stuff. And it's like, it's another day, and that's great that some people are making these life choices, but sometimes it does, you see when people really stress over the fact that they've maybe not achieved something that they wanted to. It
can be a bit of a rod for your own back, can't it? You set yourself up to fail sometimes, which actually be a bit kinder to yourself, and you know, then you don't get into that toxic mindset so much. Maybe. How about you, James?
Well, same with me there, because I did say, as I said, resolutions, I had one successful one, but since that one I have had no successful ones. And so I've made the one hilarious resolution this year will be, I will have no more resolutions, because I fell into that toxic mindset of setting them, and they always failed, and then by the end I always felt disappointed myself, and I felt like a failure, which then, you know, is, which I can tell you right now, is not good for your own self-esteem and just your own worth, thinking you just keep failing. So if I set it so that I don't, and then it basically means that I will set like a goal to improve when I feel ready, and not feel like, oh, I have to be ready to make a change at January. No, I can decide, February time, or maybe say April, I feel like I'm ready to make a change, or maybe not until September, then I want to make a change. It removes that stress, and that means you can then set something up that's achievable in a time frame that's not going to, you know, crash and burn and make you feel miserable in the end, if that makes sense.
You know, it totally makes sense. And also I think that thing about months, and the calendar is quite arbitrary, and actually is the middle of the winter, when we should all be hibernating, the best time to be putting yourself under lots of pressure? I don't think it is the best time. And I know we've spoken, haven't we, Ben, about kind of seasonal affective disorder and how difficult it can be just generally when it's so dark and cold outside. Are you happy to share?
Yeah. I mean, every single year the old seasonal affective disorder creeps in with me, because I mean, as soon as the nights draw in and it gets colder, you know, I think a lot of people are hit with that thing. I think it's quite common, and probably more common than people think. And I think there's a little bit of advice. There are little things you can do, like you can get these special lamps. They call them sad lamps. They do, but they're specifically designed. They're lamps that you aim at yourself, and they give you the same sort of effect as being out in natural light, which kind of boosts you up a little bit. You know, James will attest to this, is exercising. I've started going to the gym to try and get myself out and about. And I think you can't underestimate that. So there's just little things you can do.
I think it's doing the little things that you enjoy, and the little things that just bring you happiness.
Spend all the time inside. Don't just
try and spend as much time. Also, just away from certain stressful situations. Like if you know that there's a situation that you do get a bit stressed out in, maybe spending all of your time there is just not the greatest. Moving about, keeping active.
I think it's having that sense that you can take yourself out of a difficult situation if you need to, and that's a good, healthy thing to do. So we're going to come back to the topic of changes in the new year in a bit later in the show. But in terms of mental health, remember you can always follow the link in our bio on social media to find our resource packs, which our mental health wellbeing one has got some really great advice from the rest of our team, and obviously those all important signpost links to helpful services that can help you. And speaking of which, we are going to be playing a pre-recorded interview quite soon with one of the school nurse teams. So if you listened last week, you'll remember we played an interview with Suzanne, who works as a school nurse for young people with learning disabilities. But we want to make sure we cover, the wider conversation as well about how all young people can get help from the Gloucestershire Health and Care NHS Foundation Trust within school nursing. And remember that school nurses are for anyone under the age of a school age, even if you aren't at school. So that's good. It's great to be chatting with you today. Welcome along. And how has your week been?
Very good, thank you. Very busy.
So in October, I met with Sharon Holmes, who works for CAMS, and Bridget Davis, who works within school nursing. And they taught me a lot more about how these different NHS services work in schools and outside of them as well, to support people with their health, physical health, mental health, all sorts of things. So it's really great to meet you, Becky, as you are actually a practicing school nurse. How long have you been working in this role?
So I've been a school nurse for just over a year. And prior to that, I worked in adult physical health services. So I did adult general nursing and sexual health nursing, and I worked in the homeless healthcare team most recently.
So really broad kind of background. That's great. I bet you can apply a lot of stuff you've learnt from there within schools.
Yeah.
So to start off with, would you be able to let people know just a bit more about the professional role and the organisations that you work for and how they relate?
So I'm a school nurse working for Gloucester Health and Care. We work with young people of school age, 5 to 19, and we visit schools, colleges and see children and families in their own homes. We aim to provide support for all aspects of health and well-being in order for children and young people to develop and reach their full potential, and also empower them to maintain their own health and well-being. We work with lots of professional groups such as child and adolescent mental health, speech and language therapists, occupational therapists, physios, GPs, counsellors. The list is quite endless.
And I'm just curious about thinking from a listener's perspective, what someone could expect when they visit the school nurse for the very first time, and what help can a school nurse offer for mental health specifically?
Our service offers confidential support to all young people who need it for physical and emotional health. Each secondary school has an allocated school nurse visiting weekly who offers a listening ear, a friendly face, advice and guidance on how best to support. All of this is with consent. Some children and young people need signposting and referring to other agencies. Others just appreciate a chat and to offload. We keep our consultations confidential. We don't tell teachers or parents, but we do ask the young people to speak to a trusted adult. However, if we feel someone is at risk of harm, we do seek advice, and this is explained to every child who visits our sessions. We also run a chat health service whereby children can text their concerns to a school nurse on duty, and we can help and advise that way. This is a free service and is kept anonymous.
Brilliant. And are there any other, you've mentioned the chat health, which is great. Are there any other services that young people should make more use of, do you think?
There's plenty of online services and resources, and they're really good quality. However, face-to-face appointments are often more helpful to children, and these are offered in schools and at home. I think young people are keen to use services, just maybe need some support to access them.
Mm-hmm. And some young people may really worry about that first face-to-face meeting. They might worry about being noticed by their peers or feel embarrassed to leave a lesson for support. So what would your reply be to those kind of concerns?
I really think it's so important to dispel any myths and stigma around mental health. We all have mental health, and like our physical health, sometimes it needs some attention. Life is busy, and for some young people really stressful. Asking for help and recognising when things aren't quite right is a sign of real strength and courage, and should be applauded. School nurses will treat children with compassion and understanding. We are there to support you when you need it. Lots of us have undergone additional mental health training to provide the best care for your needs.
Amazing. And just coming towards the end of this interview then, Becky, is there one piece of practical advice that you would give above all others to young people who are struggling with their mental health, and what would that be?
Yeah, it's really important that you understand that you're not alone. There is help available, and nothing bad ever lasts forever. If you need help, take that first step and ask for support. Talking is key, and if the young person does not want to do this alone, they can seek support with a friend.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been really helpful talking with you today. So if a young person would like to make contact with any of the services you've mentioned, actually face-to-face or chat health, how should they go about it?
We've got a school nurse page on the Gloucester Health and Care website, and our details are with all schools, so we can be contacted easily via teachers or other trusted adults in school. And Teens in Crisis and other agencies have their own independent websites, and we can put you in touch with those if you need to.
Brilliant. Thank you. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome.
So that was an interview with Becky Brown from the Gloucestershire Health and Care NHS Foundation Trust. And that kind of help is really helpful for anyone who might be struggling with dealing with change for a new year. And when we talk about a new year, one big thing that always comes up is exams. And after that, what happens when you've done your exams and you've got to make a transition, leave school, leave college or sixth form, whatever it may be. It can be a really stressful time with a lot of conflicting advice and uncertainty. So lots of us can feel confused or uninspired about what our next options could be. So that's one of the reasons why at Future Me Gloucestershire we are on a mission to help direct our peers to different options that are available, because there are so many choices out there for you, especially when you leave school, and it really should be an exciting time as well as a daunting one maybe. So if you are feeling really concerned about how the transition after GCSEs will be for you next year, you feel like you could do with some support, you may be able to refer to Transitions Chat run by Young Gloucestershire. So this service was set up last year to help Year 11 students stay on track following the upheaval of the COVID pandemic. As part of Transitions Chat, students are matched with a youth worker who will discuss their ambitions and concerns. Support can focus on building confidence, life skills and readiness for change. So if you think that you could, come the summer of 2022, you think that you could do with this kind of help, you could try talking to your school, as they may be able to refer you to Young Gloucestershire. Or in the meantime, if you'd like to see if you're eligible and find out more about how it works, you can contact Young Gloucestershire directly by email. Their email is transition@younggloss.org.uk. And so while we're on the subject of options, make sure you follow Future Me on Instagram and Facebook. Click to the link in our bio to go to our Preparing for Adulthood webpage. From here you can download our interactive resource packs that I've already mentioned. And as well as one on mental health, we do have one on education, employment and training. And a great thing about these packs is that they contain other people's real life experiences. And I think we can all agree that there's real power in hearing advice from somebody a year or two older than yourself, who may have gone through similar things that you're experiencing yourself. So for that reason, I think it would be nice, James and Beth, if we were to just talk a little bit about how you approach leaving school and what you did next. So Beth, you're in your second year of college now, am I right?
Yes.
A-level year.
Yes, the dreaded year. Everything's ramped up, I think, now, and it's becoming very apparent that my exams are in less than a couple of months.
Have you got mocks or anything like that?
So we've had a couple of mocks this month just to get us back into it, and then we've got our proper mocks in end of February. So everything's going up from here, which is very stressful.
Yeah, I mean, when you think back to when you finished GCSE year, what was it about? So you've kept on with A-levels, which is quite kind of traditional academic route, but you decided to do it at college, didn't you? So what was it about that kind of setup that appealed?
I think I knew that I needed to go somewhere new, meet new people, broaden my little perspective. And I knew I just needed a change. I think after the year that I had, I especially needed to make a change. And I chose A-levels because I just wanted to give myself a broad option for what I wanted to do and allow myself choices, which in hindsight was a really good decision, because I've been able to explore some of the career paths that I could have had and found the one that I really, really want, and I've come to the realisation that of what I want to do. And I'm very grateful for my college experience for that, because I wouldn't have found that I would have definitely gone for the traditional approach of, I'm going to uni to study this to get a really good job, and it's like, actually I'm going to uni because I enjoy what I'm doing and I want to take it further. I think my attitude on that has definitely changed, and college has definitely helped me with that, and choosing it was a decision that a lot of my friends at the time maybe didn't agree with completely and were obviously sad that I was going, but I knew that I needed a change. And I think change can be really good if it's something that you want and you need, and it can definitely change your perspective.
Yeah, I remember that moment of choosing whether to stay or go, and I think I stayed in sixth form, which was okay, but I think, I had a fear of leaving because I didn't even particularly like where I was, but it was just the fear of change.
I think it's the fear of growing up, the fear of the unknown, and not... It's kind of relating to how a lot of me and my friends are obviously feeling now, because we've all got our UCAS applications in, and a lot of them have gone, I don't know whether I want to go on a gap year, I don't know what I want to do, and it's that fear of something that you just don't know what to do. Yeah. And everyone's obviously putting so much pressure on themselves because of everything, exams and gap years and uni and UCAS, and your head just explodes with it. I
think it can feel like a bit of a roller coaster that you can't get off with further education, and actually it's okay to take a gap year or two or more if you need.
I think, it's okay to just give yourself that little bit of time just to figure out what you really, really want. Like, I know what I want to do for my degree, but I also know that I want a bit of time for me to do things for me and to do the things I enjoy. Not because, right now I'm doing my A-levels, which I'm enjoying most of my subjects, but I'm doing it for the point of higher education at the moment. My motivation's kind of off. I want to be doing things for the motivation of, I want to do this for myself, not for my higher education. I want to do this for myself and for me. And I think that's something I've definitely had to learn quite quickly over the past couple of months, was I've got to start doing things for me, not my education. I want to do it for me, because otherwise I'm going to resent it at some point.
I mean, that's a great reflection to have, I think. I think probably everyone gets there eventually, but it can be really challenging when everybody around you, from your peers to your academic staff to your family, can be pushing you in a direction.
Yeah, and it's like people don't even mean to sometimes. It's just an unconscious kind of thing. It's
well-meaning usually.
Yeah, but I think this is a kind of journey that everyone kind of goes through, and everyone kind of figures their stuff out on their own. And I think allowing people to have that time is really, really valuable, and the support. Even just listening, you don't need to have the answers. You just need to sit there and be like, okay, so how are we feeling? How's it going? And just listen to the stress, because it's a massive stress to be, before you're even 18, you're not even an adult, and you're like, okay, decide your entire life now. It's like, it's not gonna. You can make a mistake. Like, it's fine.
And do you think that going to college helped you kind of grow in yourself?
I do. Yeah, I'm obviously in a much broader range of people. I'm around a bigger community of people. My perspectives have definitely changed, of like how I view the world and what I kind of see and do. And my perspective on what I want to do has changed, because I've obviously met other people that have been like, hey, you could do this, and I definitely think it has changed my perspectives, and I really value it for that.
Sure, yeah. And James, you go to a different college to Beth, and I think I'm right in saying that you're not doing A-levels as such, you're doing a different course, because obviously college allows you to do different forms of higher education. So would you be happy to just talk through how you decided on what course you wanted to do?
Okay. The course I'm doing is it's a level 3 extended diploma in art and design and communication. It is equivalent to 3 A-levels when it's completed, so it has the same value, in a way, but it's all heavily focused around coursework. But you do have at the end of the year something called a final major project, or FMP for short. It's what I like to call the 12-week-long exam, where you just basically you're given a brief, you basically create work based around that theme, you explore the journeys, and you kind of show you. And it's also quite good for them to show how you progressed from where you started the year to where you end up now. And I picked that one because I thought going straight into A-levels was not really a suitable thing for me because of where I came from, my previous education. And that it was a more appropriate for me in terms of looking at criteria, because I'm very good at like tackling criteria, whereas say my brothers, for example, are much better at tackling the doing the exams together, like cramming their 2 years of knowledge into like 2 hours, which to me was not
exactly. Different people thrive in different environments. To
extend upon what Beth had already mentioned, that when I went to college, the change of scenery was massive. It was the first time I've ever been in a local venue for my education, and getting to finally developing friendships with people that are local to me, as well as meeting new and very diverse individuals, has both helped me actually to understand the world better, be more tolerant of other people's differences as well, because I didn't realise I wasn't as tolerant as I could have been actually. And seeing the different people I met actually made me realise actually so many different people actually are so much more amazing.
Yeah, so it opens your eyes a bit, your horizon. And
also it made me understand that there's more to life than just, doing loads and loads of coursework. That actually is, you can have fun whilst actually working.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, I think there is that. I mean, I didn't actually go to college, so I can't talk, but there's, do you think that it's slightly more, do you get treated slightly differently at college?
I would... Oh, sorry, you go first.
Thank you very much. Sorry. I think adulthood, and you do definitely get treated a bit more like an adult. Things are very much more kind of, okay, this is your responsibility now, instead of kind of being told, you must do this now. You're kind of told, okay, we'd encourage you guys to do this, but if it's your decision, you're an adult, and you're given that freedom.
It's kind of easing you in a little bit. More responsibilities, but also more freedoms, isn't it? So thanks for that, guys. I think we're going to have another track now.